guys, today's video is one that I've been meaning to make for like 2 weeks, maybe, where I've taken some time over the course of the summer holidays and after the move got all sorted out and finished to create a D&D world, and I created this whole start of a mythology at least. I've got a creation myth that I'm gonna do a reading of it, and that's the video for today. So without much further ado, I give you the creation of Thesia. The world of Thesia began with 2 sisters, Magraea and Scarea, who were life and death. Both were powerful sorceresses, and they resolved to weave a world. First, they created the vast oceans that encircled the globe. However, from their creation erupted Caimane, the storm god, who quickly set about fighting the 2 sisters. As the 3 fought, Caimane swinging all of the fury of his storms in vain, as Scarea dodged and weaved, and Magraea threw back blasts of arcane energy, a mountain emerged from the seas beneath them, bearing the rest of the land with it. Standing atop that peak was Corphia, who caused many smaller mountain ranges to sprout up between the warring parties. She bore no love for either side, forcing Caimane back to the sea and the sisters to a cage of peaks. She held the sisters there for some time, stymieing any escape attempts until the pair grew gaunt and grey. As it seemed that both of them would surely die there, Scarea slit her own throat and used her magic to restore her sister to health and strength at the cost of her own life. With this newfound power, Magraea took her sister's body in her arms and flew upwards, far out of the reach of their captor, mourning Scarea all the while. While the sisters had been imprisoned, other gods had emerged from their creation. Tricia and Cairgos, the gods of the seasons, had sprung from the battle between Corphia and Caimane. Pulvia had come to be as life spurted on the land that Corphia had brought with her from the bottom of the ocean, and Heliopa found herself in the skies as the world required light. Magraea surveyed the world as from on high, and while she saw that it was good, she could not savour it with her sister dead. Heliopa came upon the goddess and the corpse of her sister, and offered her help in whatever way possible. The 2 searched for some way to bring Scarea back to life, but throughout the world, neither of them could find any way. All seemed lost for the sisters once more, when Magraea saw the death of a black dog. As the creature died, a young man appeared from nowhere and beckoned her over. He explained that he was Sormas, and told her to hold on to him, and she would see her sister once more. Sormas took Magraea into the underworld, where Scarea was waiting for her. The sisters embraced, but Scarea had to explain that she could no longer return to the living world. She had been in the underworld for too long, and had fallen in love with one of the dead that had arrived at the same time as she had. The 2 had made love while searching for a way out, and Scarea had given birth to Sormas. The young god was her contact with the living world, able to pass between the 2 at moments of death to usher the soul onto the next world. Magraea wept with her sister that they would ever be apart, but resolved to take the world they had made into her own hands. Her sister and nephew would rule over the dead and the underworld, but she would rule over the living world. Magraea asked Sormas to return her to the living world, saying her goodbyes to her sister. As Magraea emerged back into the world, she gathered all her powers to her, and met with Heliopa. The sun goddess armoured the 2 of them in sunlight, and they set to war. For years on years, the 2 strove to unite the divine world, finding all of the gods and forcing them under Magraea's rule. Some came willingly, Pulvia and Cairgos, and their son Solgaro, the god of the moon, and the mountain goddess Corphia barely acknowledged the 2 as they talked to her, but gave consent to Magraea's rule nonetheless. The only holdouts were Tricia and Caimane, who had allied together. For most of a year, the pair of Magraea and Heliopa fought with the storm god and the winter goddess, until the pair relented and begrudgingly submitted to the life goddess's rule. Magraea commanded that all of the living gods found a nation each among the mortals, in order to give them some structure after 100 years of chaos since creation began, and then created a divine realm for the gods to inhabit, and bid them all live there, with Heliopa becoming her divine consort. Some still ventured out from time to time, but most made do with empowering mortal champions from their nations or churches to do their bidding in the world. So that is the creation myth of my D&D world that I've been working on for a little while, Thesia. I'm still working on a lot of elves. It's going to be a young world. It's going to be one where there's not been much, if any, in the way of heroes before this. This is going to be a world where, really, the myths are still being written. This is going to be... Any players that I have for this, because I haven't got any lined up yet, the players are going to be the equivalents of, like, Theseus and Odysseus and Hercules and Heracles and all of the other sort of Greek mythological heroes. There's, like, this is the idea behind them. And I've been just creating stuff for this when I've had the time for the last month or so, and I'm pretty happy with it, I would say. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I would love to know, so down there, let me know. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails down below to see other videos by me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.